You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. Oh man, you heard my voice. I don't gotta do the intro again, so you already know what time it is. This is the post game show. The Washington Commanders fell to the Detroit Lions 27-36. Mo and Ray are out. So your hosts are going to be myself, Wole, and Glenn, and we're joined with Fox Sports Radio Commanders reporter Felix Trammell. What's good, Felix?
What's going on, fellas? Good to be here. Not on these circumstances, but I'm happy to be here.
We're glad to have you on. Obviously, not on these circumstances. Yeah. Hey, also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_Errrything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything. And like our All Burgundy and Go Errrything Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Errrything YouTube channel as well. All right, let's get right into it. The Washington Commanders fell to the Detroit Lions. Like I mentioned, Felix, I'm going to start with you. What were some of the disappointing plays that came out of the game for you?
I just think how ill prepared we were for the Lions' energy. The Lions had a fire about them that we didn't have, and we didn't get that to the second half. And by that time, we were 22 points down. We were lucky not to be 30 points down at the half. But the Lions just came out fired up, energetic like we did last week, and we didn't match that intensity. So I think that's probably the most disappointing thing of all is that we were just flat. And we were by far the worst team on the field because we were flat. There was no sense of urgency, no sense of emotion, no sense of drive on either side of the ball. And it just snowball effect until luckily halftime saved it pretty much.
Glenn, what was your thought, of that first half, man? Washington was pretty much flat, 22-0 first half, man. Like, what were you thinking?
I'm watching a high school football game. I'm watching a high school football game, and there's a dominant team on the field, and the other guys can't do anything, right? Because you think about it, they only had 25, 26, like I said, stats not in front of me, total yards of offense, right? They didn't get a first down until 5 minutes to go in the second half. Right, so you're looking at it like you saw a dominant film. The Detroit Lions won on every aspect of the game. It was winning on defense, it was winning on special teams, it was winning on offense, and they had total control of that football game, which is why I'm amazed. But it showed character from this Washington football team to come out in the second half, and it showed that the Detroit Lions, as I mentioned in the show, and Ray on our pre-show leading up to this, Ray mentioned it. Good teams win, bad teams find a way to lose, and the Detroit Lions almost found a way to lose that football game.
It did.
Yeah, true. So, so what really disappointed you the most about that first half, though? Which player? Like, what was making you mad? Like, what element of this team for the Commanders, defensively, offensively, or was it something that the Lions were doing? Or was it coaching? Like, what was pissing you off about that first half? Glenn?
Well, offensive line pissed me off on the first half. To me, it was just the offensive line. Offensive line couldn't even give Carson Wentz. I mean, look how many 3 and outs that we had, right? 3 and outs and it was out. So the offensive line didn't have enough time to throw the ball. I wasn't able to establish a running game. That was what made me mad or upset me as a fan and also a journalist with the Washington Commanders was not being able to sustain some type of offense, no rhythm. They had no rhythm in the first half, and it seemed like everything was emotional. And got to me because you think about it, defense actually saved them a couple of times, allowing field goals and not touchdowns. So to me, the offense just needed to sustain some type of drive. And when they was able to do that, you saw them be able to move the football. But the offensive line was the thing that discouraged me in the first half or made me upset about this team.
Felix, I got the same question for you, Felix. What was annoying you in that first half in terms of was it the Lions, what the Lions were doing, or was it something that, Washington was doing? Was it coaching a certain player? Like, what was kind of getting at you?
Well, what got at me in this play was small, but it changed the whole first half. We had a punt after our first series, after we got the stop, that we could have had them pinned on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, great.
They're on the 20. They make
Holmes,
a big
play. You're talking about Holmes, right? You're talking about Holmes.
Yes, that little play changed the entire momentum.
Yeah,
you have them backed up on the 1 yard line. You probably get back off the field. You give the offense a chance. But my biggest thing was Scott Turner in the first half. The Lions were bringing 7, 8 people, and we never switched to max protection until the second half. Like, we have the versatility to do it with the tight ends, but he never adjusted. So Wentz never got in rhythm because he was getting his head blasted in. You were leaving running backs on Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, Lions schemed him well. That was beautiful how they schemed Aiden Hutchinson all over the defensive line to cause havoc. And we didn't adjust. There was nothing we did to adjust in the first half. And I blame that on Scott Turner because he had a prescribed game plan that he didn't modify until he got to halftime. If you modify that and get 10 points in the first half and you say it's 22-10, that's a whole different ballgame. But you did not change it, and you kept being very predictable, didn't call any short passes, any screens, and then the Lions teed off. And so that emotion just build, and we were out of it before we could get back into it.
Yeah,
that's
go ahead, Glenn. Go.
That's what happens when you script plays for the beginning of the game. Because most offensive coordinators, they script the first 10 or 15 plays. They want to run through the first 10 or 15, and they don't want to change from the script if something has happened. And that's where you see good, true offensive coordinators, Felix, what you made. They'll make an adjustment to their script, even though they haven't ran through the script.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought that the play calling was like he couldn't adjust. There was no adjustment in game. Obviously made some adjustments in the second half, but you wanted it to a point where, in that first half where the game isn't getting away from you. You know what I'm saying? You want to make subtle adjustments. You're right, Felix. You could tell like that type of pressure, he wasn't ready for it, which is wild to me. You saw it pretty much. You saw what he did to the Eagles. Like Glenn did it to the Eagles. And I mean Glenn, I'm talking about the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator. They did it to the Eagles. The difference was they had mobile quarterback in Jalen Hurts, who's way more mobile than Carson Wentz. But it's wild, like you didn't scheme up for this, and you knew what they were going to do. And they are that team. Like they want to dial up pressure. Maybe you had to feel it for yourself, that type of thing, that whole type of interaction. You had to feel it for yourself. But I don't think there's an excuse to say, you know what, you came in this game like the Detroit Lions did something that you wouldn't expect defensively.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that really disappointed me. But in terms of a positive side, I'll jump on it first. I thought Jamin played pretty well. I know I'm the one of the biggest Jamin supporters out here. People get on me, but I thought he's, with all the talk about what Jack Del Rio calling him out, saying that he didn't play too well against the Jaguars. I know this game he played to a higher level. I would argue to say that, they want to put in Mayo in the game a little bit more. And what I saw from Mayo, that is a liability. I prefer if you're going to rotate the kid with somebody else, you may want to rotate him. I'll take John Bostic over that. Like, seriously, like that is not somebody that should be on the football field. If you're going to say he's a run stopper, or dang, I saw people running right by him. I saw him not holding off on his gaps. I saw Swift making moves in where he was supposed to be at. And then what defense are going to do when you have that type of dude on the field. They're going to try to put him in a situation in passing plays. They're going to try to hide something out to make it look like they're going to run the football, and they're going to spread it out to a point where they're going to isolate him, and he's going to be in coverage. And you saw that on that passing play. I think there's a key. Was it second down or third down where the tight end, he was manned up on a tight end, and it was an easy pitch and catch. So I'm just saying, like, if you're going to say, hey, Jamin, you're not good enough to cover or whatever, or play rundowns, you're not good enough, then you better have a better replacement, because this dude ain't better. Like, he's not better. And Felix, I see you nodding your head, so I'm gonna go with you. So what was your opinion about Jamin's play, and also the decision to play Mayo a lot more?
Well, it supremely backfired because they were so vocal about it. The Lions knew it was coming. But when they saw Mayo out there, they would flex out their tight ends and had Mayo in no man's land. Mayo should not cover anybody. And like you said, if you picked up Bostic, put Bostic in on rundowns, or you let Davis be out there, because if he makes a mistake, he's at least fast enough to recover from the mistake. And Jamin played well. He did his job, and you saw him using him more downhill. That's what they should be doing. I've said this all offseason. They need to move him more around like Micah Parsons is done with the Cowboys.
Great.
Not saying he's Micah Parsons.
Yep.
People jump on me like, he's not Micah Parsons. I know that. But you need to use him like that. Have him attacking. Have him have one thing to do and go do it. So on this joint, you're rushing. On this joint, you're there. Like, he plays fast when you have that. So if that's the ability he has, coach to his ability. So I think that's what's frustrating. You called him out. That's fine. Call out the rest of your team. Call out your cornerbacks, because the cornerbacks played bad. I think Forrest and McCain actually did well. Yeah. I think cornerbacks did a lot of things between St. Juice, that first big play was on him. He didn't put on the right person.
Yeah, man.
Then William Jackson routinely is a half step behind.
Yep.
Fuller's flat-footed too often. It's the corners. Like, and even when the defense is actually called right, the corners don't produce. So like the third down where they got the first touchdown, the line blitzes him well. They hit him, and Jackson falls down, and St. Brown catches a touchdown.
Well,
so
shout out to Steve, who said like the defense is trash. It's wild. I think the defense. I mean, if we're gonna look at it for what it is, the defense is trash. And Del Rio has been trash. But I'm not. Some of the plays, like we and Felix talked before, some of the play calls were good, especially the one at the end. I'm not gonna like put that on Del Rio. I thought he called the right play. But yeah, it is what it is in terms of some of these players. The way it is, it's the proof is in the pudding. They've been trash. I thought, and my man Cornelius had a comment too. I thought they blitzed a lot. They blitzed more than usual. It wasn't anything overbearing. William Jackson is garbage. Yeah, absolutely garbage. I'm not going to deny that, bro. I actually root for William Jackson, but it is what it is. I can't root for somebody who routinely gets beat. But go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead, man.
No, I was going to say the same thing. Cornelius beat me to it. William Jackson, there's no excuse for all the plays he got tripped on. He fell down, Scooby. He fell down. He jumped too early on another one, right? He jumped early and St. Juice got the first touchdown. I got the touchdown. And so, I mean, William Jackson, and then late in the fourth quarter, he missed the play again. I mean, William Jackson III, man, that dude, and I'm gonna call his whole name, right? That dude needs to go, man. You need to get rid of that guy. It'll give him some help or something, but he's not there at corner. It wasn't good today for the Washington corners, right? I mean, not just in pass coverage. I'm talking about in run coverage too, because there were several times that these guys could have came up and made opportunities for tackles, and they were nowhere to be found, right? I go back to when Swift was on the ground. You see William Jackson coming up, and then he takes the wrong angle and allows Swift to go inside. You see the corners going and diving at feet. Come on, you're make the tackle, right? Make the tackle, get in the way, and he boxed it on the sideline. Use the sideline, right? So that's one of the things. But we were talking about positive, right? We were talking about positive. Jamin Davis was a positive. I know I texted you earlier. He's about to catch the pass. He wasn't phased. He was in phase, but perfect ball would have got over there.
Yeah.
Definitely. One thing I did see that was positive from this Washington offense is they put up 27 points. It was 27, right? 27 points, right? Let's be honest. 2 weeks in a row, the Washington offense has scored over 20, 25, 26, 7 points, right? Which is good. Hadn't seen that in a long time. Had a quarterback who actually get downfield. Carson Wentz had over 300 yards passing again. Jahan Dotson had another touchdown. So you should always see weapons. So if you want to take anything out of this loss from Washington, that the passing ability of this offense is there, right? The passing ability of this offense is there. Now they have to be able to put a whole game together defensively and offensively to be able to. They haven't played full 4 quarters yet. You go back to the Jacksonville game, they hadn't played full 4 quarters. The offense got sluggish in the second half, had to do a comeback and win. Defense was running things in the first. So again, this football team needs to play a full 4 quarters and show what they can and possibly could be. Again, me, I'll save the other part later. Run the football.
Yeah. So Felix, what's some of the positives for you, man?
I think what he said, Glenn said it, 27 points, and that was all in the second half. That was all in the second half. And that the ability is there to flip a switch. All it takes is one big play, and we have multiple guys who can be that spark. So I think that's good. Logan looks healthy again, which is major.
Great.
And you get Cole Turner back, and that's a true passing tight end. It gives the offense flexibility. So I like that. I did like the pressure from Payne and Sweat.
Yeah.
I mean, Payne and Allen. They provided a lot of pressure up the middle on Jared Goff. And I mean, there was times they were half a second late, but they're consistently one-on-one, sometimes double teams beating guys. And I think that needs to be well stated that those two are performing well, that they're missing Chase Young, and that the teams are routinely attacking whoever that other end is. Smith Williams, Tuhill got hurt today. It doesn't matter, but we need to give credit where credit's due. Payne and Allen are playing well up the middle. So I liked what they did. Also, I like Forrest, especially in the second. I love him. He might be the best pure tackler out there. He is a form tackler, and he comes with aggression. I think that's something that his defense is sorely lacks. So he did have some mistakes in the first half, but Forrest played amazing in the second half. I like his ability.
Yeah, I like in terms of what the positives I like in the game. All my man Beard says they need to make some major adjustments. They do. I mean, we saw the second half they made some adjustments, but they have to do it as soon as adversity hits. But my positives are like Carson Wentz, because I think quarterbacks throw interceptions, man. It happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, but how you bounce back and how you respond, and when he threw that pick, he responded well. He had like two. I believe he had two. He had he had a touchdown drive right after it. He played pretty well in the second half. I just like how to do the resolve that he has. You know what I mean? Like, the line play wasn't the greatest. He was getting constant pressure. Some of it was him like running into pressure. I mean, Carson does that. You're gonna get what Carson. You're gonna get something that Carson gets. But at the same time, like like you gotta look at a quarterback who can kind of bounce back from adversity. We haven't seen that before with this team. You know what I mean? Like, that can do it and can lead you to getting multiple points and kind of you feel good about yourself. You have a chance. You know what I mean? When he's back out there to make the big play, like you get the explosive play pretty quick. You're not waiting 5 to 8 minutes to get that explosive touchdown. It can happen like that. You know what I mean? So he's a positive. Jahan Dotson continues to me to be a positive player, a young rookie who's making plays. I love it. You know what I mean? I just think that what he brings to the table is amazing to me. Oh, come on, Eric. Carson Wentz does not suck, man. You geeking. Carson Wentz. No, bro. Like, look at the stats, man. He doesn't suck. Carson Wentz was 30 for 46 for 308 yards. He had a 99.7 touchdown rating, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. If that sucks, let me be a sorry dude. If that sucks, you know what I'm saying? So, but my man Bear says, but we lost to a good team, and it's only the second game of the season. Got to keep the heads up. Yeah, it's wild. The Lions are a good team, right? That's the new narrative. I think they're building a culture. They're building a culture that I like. I will say that. So we'll see.
But you see energy.
Yeah, the energy.
But
go ahead.
Energy. Yeah, I about to say the same thing you said. The energy brought the team, right? If you think about this, it was a tale of two halves, right? If Washington was able to get a couple stops here, eliminate some of the big plays, right? Then this game is flipped over. You take away the 52-yard run. You take away the punt return. You take away. So therefore, the big plays is what causing the Washington defense to be backed against the wall, right? Yeah. And so those things there, and getting off to a fast start. So are the Lions a good team? They moving in the right direction. They 1-1. Washington's 1-1. There's no reason for anybody to hit the panic button, right? And that's why I was saying there's no reason to hit the panic button. I know Ray said something about the Washington defense giving up 800 yards combined in 2 weeks.
It's bad.
I mean, look at Jacksonville today, though. I mean,
that's what I was saying. Yeah. Like, it's wild. Like, I know people, and the good point, Felix, because I was like, and I that's why I made sure I tweeted it. Like, I was like, y'all see what Trevor Lawrence is doing? Just did to the Colts, who everyone says their defense is legit. You see what he just did to the Colts?
They skunked him.
Yes.
I mean, it's the NFL, and I think people need to understand that there might be 1 or 2 super teams, but it's the NFL. All these people can play. They're professional players. So, I mean, Detroit of old is not Detroit of what came out there. That's a better Detroit team that's been out there. And we didn't match it today. But that doesn't mean we're terrible. It doesn't mean they're great either. I mean, it's just what it is in the NFL. So week to week, game to game, we have to be consistent energy. And I don't think we've done that. Like Glenn said, we start off hot in the first quarter last week and cooled off and then picked it up again. This game, we were flat for the first half. And then the second half, we come out like trailblazers and we make a game of it. So we just need to find that consistent energy. And like Glenn said, Detroit had energy. Like, they have Campbell's energy. He's remaking that team and his energy. And sometimes our team reflects our coach's energy, which is not. He's never been a rah-rah, energetic guy. That's not who Coach Rivera is. He's intense. But he's not that energetic. Scott McVay, even go to
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll. Any of those coaches that are like that, Coach Rivera is not like that. Which sometimes is good because that means you don't panic and get overly emotional. But then sometimes it can be bad, like we saw today. You come out flat, then there's no spark.
Yeah, I just think that you want to make sure your team is consistent. Like consistent in this aspect of being prepared. Like, you're the best team. You're not going to always. I agree with you, Felix. Like, you're not going to always be your best on the Sunday, right? But you want to be prepared. Like, you want to be in a situation where, all right, maybe this one day the better team or the better team won, or this team may have made more plays than you, period, right? They were just outplaying you. But there's a difference of just being out prepared. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like they weren't prepared for this game. And it wasn't like they were going against a team that's hiding everything. You know what I mean? Like, this team is pretty obvious of what they want to do and what they're trying to do. It's pretty obvious. It's not rocket science. You already know what they're trying to do. So my issue, like, I kind of had like the back of my mind thinking, like, where you read your press clippings after you got that W, like, where you, as a coaching staff, were you all feeling good? I don't think the players were like all jacked up on themselves, but I do want to say, like, I think the coaching staff was like, yo, I'm an offensive wizard. Like, I'm that dude. Everybody's talking about how I did it. So, all right, I'm just going to go for that. Or you got the defensive coordinator saying, like, you know, we held Jacksonville to this. Our front four was getting pressure on Trevor Lawrence. So we were good with that. Instead of just saying, you know what, just like players got to do their homework, just like players have to step up on Sundays, coaches got to get ready. You got to need that same type of energy for coaches. Like, y'all got to be prepared to know that you're playing against a team that was desperate. Like, they don't want to finish. They don't want to go in this season 0-2. They don't want to lose 2 straight home games. Nah, They want to, you know what? And they feel good because they beat the Eagles, a team that everyone thought thinks that could be a contender in the NFC East. I mean, in the NFC period. So they looking at Washington like, we ready. We got to win this game. This is a must win.
You know, I think that's the key, though. And you look at this team, they put up 36 points. Detroit Lions put up 36 points this week. I believe 38 points last week. Yeah. You put up 38 points. You put up 38 points in NFL. You expect to win a football game. Yes. You don't expect to lose. You don't expect the team to bring up 42 and you lose. And that's one thing I can say about this young Lions team. They don't mind putting up points and they don't mind scoring. Defensively, they gave up a lot of yards. They gave up a lot of yards last week. I think in my commentary earlier in our podcast earlier in the week, I said, you know, Washington will be able to gain a lot of yards against them, but it's about finishing and about scores. And what this game really came down to was about executing in the special teams, executing after you score. Because let's think about it. If the offensive, I don't know who called it, Ron Rivera or Scott Turner, if they make this 2-point conversion, right? If you do get the 2-point conversion, you're down by 6. That changes the dynamic of the game. You get a stop here. I understand what he was doing, but when you don't get it, you are always playing from behind. And that's what happened. They're playing from behind and the pressure there because the Washington offense did not really get stopped in the second half. If you think about it, they drove down the field. And so that's one of the key things with the Washington offense. The consistency everyone's talking about has to be key. Scott Turner has to do a better job knowing situation. And Wole, you said it, preparing teams for the week. We mentioned about it last week on the show, on the podcast. Teams take on the persona of their coach, right? They take on the persona of their coach. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care who the assistant coach is. I don't see anything else. They take on the persona of their coach. And when I saw this today, if you looked at it on the sideline, you saw Duke Staley being energetic, right? You saw Glenn being energetic. You saw the head coach being energetic. Look at their coaching staff compared to the Washington coaching staff, and you see why those young guys have energy, and because their coaching staff had the energy to keep those guys motivated.
There's a guy on the staff now, and I've said this.
So Harris.
Chris Harris needs to be the defensive coordinator. He would be that energy guy. Yeah. And I think he's the one who deserves a shot because he's a great teacher, but he has the energy. Like, for those who ever get to go to see practice and stuff, he's the energy. Yeah. He's the spark that gets everything going. And I think in his position, I don't think he's allowed to do that because the person above you is not that type. So you got to fall in line. And I've been an assistant coach. You got to be, you know, how the leaders want you to be. If they want you to be like that, that's fine. But you know, I hate as an assistant, and when I've been there, but I think Chris. I'm the
rebellious assistant coach, man. I'm the rebellious.
I know you look like it, but it's like it's you got to be that guy. Like, and even when I hate to mention Dallas, but when Dallas defense was good, that the way it was Robert Salah, like everybody wanted him. Yeah. Or now, you know, it's that name, and so I think with that defense, you get a guy like Chris Harris, somebody who's that spark and energy, and will be fired up, pushing people on the sideline, jacked up, running down the sideline. The players feed off of that, and they will play for that guy. And so I think that they may need that. Even if Coach Rivera is Coach Rivera, let him have the defense, let him do that, and let him have that spark plug. And so that would be the reflection of somebody, because right now you have two very calm, stated coaches. So the defense never seems to have that aggression because they're always calm and stated. Yeah. And I love playing for a fiery coach.
I think so. Yeah. I think it's obvious. I think when you play for a fiery coach, you're gonna play with that passion. There's like look at Hutchinson and how much energy he was playing with. It attracts to another player. That's what happens. It's contagious. It just happens. Everyone gets it. They get that vibe. They get that feel. They want to play for the next person. That's what it is. I'm not saying that's the only way to coach. I mean, calm demeanors work for you. Depending on how you kind of build that environment, that it can work that way. But I'm just saying, that's my preference as a hype coach. Everyone laughed at me because I was talking about Hard Knocks. So, that's why I like Detroit so much. I'm like, oh, you know what? They ready. Like, this team going to be ready because you watch them on Hard Knocks. They're going to be ready. They're going to be ready. So, and they were ready. So it is what it is. I mean, hopefully this team kind of bounce back. But something that you mentioned, Glenn, I want to talk about the 2-point conversion. Those plays, man. Felix, I'm going to start with you. I'll start with the second one because the first one, people could just, he got it. So I'm going to the second one. Did the second one make any sense to you? Like the second 2-point conversion, the teams just scored a touchdown. If they kick the extra point, they have an opportunity to be down 7. We did see at the end of the game how Joey Slye did miss an extra point, but they would have the opportunity to be down 7. What do you think the coach's thought process was on that play?
I've texted a lot of people, a lot of my coaching friends at all levels.
Yeah.
And no one can give me an answer. And I can't think of an answer for it. I mean, I understand it because then I can understand the rationale because you would, if you got it, you'd be down 6. Yeah. You get a touchdown, you kick an extra point to win the game. Yeah. I get that. But I don't think it was the right place in the momentum. Yes. Because you clearly had the momentum. You finish it off with the extra point. You kick it off in the end zone. You get another stop because their defense had been rolling at that point. You would slow the Lions down, and then you're right where you want to be. Ball back in Wentz's hands, ready to attack, and then the Lions are like, "Oh no, this is Lions mode. Okay, we're about to blow this." But instead, they get that boost of confidence from that. So I don't get the rationale. I know what the rationale was, and you just wanted to make it 6 because then we score again, the extra point wins the game. But that game was trending towards a track meet. Just get the 7, move on. Get the 7, move on. Just stay ahead of schedule and then do it when the pressure's on. Because when the pressure's on, if it's it would have been 30 seconds left when we scored that touchdown and we could take a 2-point conversion to win the game, that's a whole different ball game than 10 minutes left. And it's just the scenarios are different. So we took the Lions off the hook basically by doing that.
So Glenn, what was your thought process when you saw it? Were you like, oh, okay, we about to get this money? Or were you like, oh man, they about to, I don't know what they're doing.
Nah, I'm sitting here with my brother-in-law who coaches football at Oxon Hill, and we were sitting here and we was watching the game together, and we was talking about that, and he's looked at me and we both said the same thing. Doesn't make any sense. Even in your coaching chart, right? You have most coaches, good coaches have a coaching chart, right? It tells you when to go for 2. Nowhere on that chart it tells you to go for 2 at that point. There's so you making that up on your own. You're not following your own chart, right? And so again, it puts put the team more in a deficit. The biggest thing that could have hurt this team is this. At the end of the game, it's a totally different story. But you don't do that. I believe it was at the end of the 3rd, at the beginning of the 4th quarter that you do that. You don't do that then. You get the field goal, which shows this is what we're not talking about. He doesn't have confidence in his kicking game. And that's what it really was. He doesn't have confidence in his special team of his kicking game. Well, if you don't have confidence in your kicker, there's a lot of good kickers out there. Get rid of him and bring another kicker in, right? Yeah. If you don't have confidence in don't hang on to a kicker when you don't have confidence in him and you're going for 2. So let him go. We saw later on why he went for 2 because the kicker just missed the field goal, right? So I mean, to me, if you're gonna roll the dice, let's be honest, if you're gonna roll the dice, right? Continue to roll the dice the whole game. Roll the dice. If you're going for 2, roll. See, if you'd have came out and went for 2 there, nobody really said too much anything because he's going for 2. I think you text me like Slye hurt. I don't know. I thought he was hurt.
Yeah, I was like, was he hurt?
Right. Right. So if he rolls for 2, we asking different questions now. But when you bring the kicker out and he misses the kick, now everybody's really scratching their head. We scratched their head before, but you really scratch your head. Even if you would have got it there, I still would be like, oh, he rolled the dice and got lucky. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's just it wasn't the right situation for it. And I really want to see if his answer for it. Look at the press conference later, see if his answer, see if it's BS or not, and we'll talk about it on Tuesday at the podcast.
Facts.
I would say this though, after thinking back on it, those first 2 extra points he kicked, they were barely in. They went left and they snuck in. So maybe he had saw something. And I'm just doing the benefit of the doubt. I'm just remembering when I watched him kick the first two, and it was like, okay. But kicking at this stage in the game is wild. But you still take the extra point there. I don't. There's nothing else to do there but take the extra point. And if he misses it, okay, then you needed to. Then that's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you knew you would have needed to. Like,
I just think that for me, like, all right, reason why I don't think I going back, I thought, and that's why I said I was thinking that, was he hurt? Is he hurt? And then I was like, he's kicking the kickoffs and he's still kicking them out of the end zone. He can't be hurt. It can't be that bad. Like, he was still kicking it with a good distance with the kickoff. So I was like, all right, it ain't that bad. And then I'm looking at, so even my thing about, even if you by going for two at that situation, now you're gonna have people like us, the media, they're gonna question you thoroughly about it. You know what I mean? Like, at least if he missed the extra point, it ain't on you. Right. It ain't on you. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, now it's all on, like, and maybe you want that smoke. I'm not one to knock you. God bless you. Like, maybe you want that smoke. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of the risk factor, and like, I grew up a gambler. I gamble, so I get what, the whole riverboat Ron. But there's something, and there is a thing called intelligent gambling. Like, there is a thing called intelligent gambling. And, like, in a situation where, Glenn, you mentioned, and also Felix, you mentioned, like, momentum. You're in that situation. You got momentum. Like, you kick that field, you kick that extra point, and just say, like, because it's supposed to be, it's not a 50-50 kick. It should be like an 80-20 kick for real. But you make the kick, right? You make the kick. You're down 7. You're feeling really good because you're down 22-0. You're at a point where you're having an opportunity, if you get a stop, and the way your offense was going, you're pretty much going to tie this ball game up. You know what I'm saying? You're just hoping that your defense can get a stop. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, even by going for 2, like, you believe that your defense is going for a stop. So I don't even get why you're going for 2. Like, what's the essence of going for 2? Like, so I don't know. I feel like he's brought himself some unnecessary smoke. And I don't know if he really, what I've gauged from Ron over the past some odd years, he hates to be questioned. And I'm just like, bro, like, you didn't put this out there. You put this energy out there. For what reason?
Right. And we just hope, and as a journalist and a commander, a fan, hope this game doesn't come and bite them back in the butt later on down the season.
Yes.
When you look at it, that this may be a game that, you go back and say, man, if they had this game, they could be XYZ in playoffs, home field advantage, whatever case may be, wild card. This game might be the game we're looking at week 17, week 18, saying, you know what, that Detroit game is the game that Washington let get away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, question before we end the show off: do you think this game, like, obviously it was a lot of positive vibes, about this season after the game in Jacksonville. This game kind of like, doesn't feel too good. The Eagles are coming to town next week, and this is about attendance. Does this hurt the vibe of having, like, Commander fans come to that game at FedEx? I'm gonna start with you, Felix. You're gonna be in the building, so I'm gonna start with you. Like, what is your thought process, or what do you believe is gonna happen in terms of, like, the crowd? Like, will it be a Commanders crowd, or if not, is it because of this game? Like, did this game affect that?
Yes and no. This was always gonna be a heavy Eagles crowd because it's the Eagles. Yeah, they're our closest rival, and they're coming off a good season with high expectations. So I expected them to be there in droves. It's the fringe Commander fans that are probably like, I ain't gonna mess with it because this is the same old team. Yeah. Now, the environment they had last week, and certain media people were like, well, it's the lowest attendance in the league. That was one of the better crowds that have been at FedEx in a long time.
Agreed.
And who cares about percentages of numbers of sellout? That was a good crowd. They were energetic. They responded to it. And I asked Carson and I asked Coach Rivera about that last week, and they said they responded to that energy. So I think the ones who are invested will be there. But it's the fringe. They're going to be the same old team. They're not going to come. I don't want to deal with Eagles fans. I'm not going to come. It's those fringe ones. But those locked-in ones will be there because they understand. You beat the Eagles, you're right where you need to be. The Eagles have a tough game tomorrow. Let's just say they lose. They come in 1-1. Yeah. Everyone's expecting the Eagles to win. Yeah. That's usually when they play their best. Yeah. That's usually when they play their best. When they have that chip on their shoulder. That gives them the motivation. And they're going to hear how terrible they were all week. And I hope they hear that. Yeah. So I think the crowd is going to be there because the offense is good. Like, this is a good offense. And we rather see games that are like 35-28, 35-33 shootouts than we've been hoping for the last 5 or 6 years to get to 20. Remember, I mean, I was literally writing articles and stuff saying, can we get to 20 points? We'll win a game.
Yeah.
Now it's like, can our defense just hold them to 20, 21, 24? We can win a game. So I think the narrative's changed. So I think fans will buy into that, but I still think it's going to be a heavy Eagles crowd just because they're down the street. They're going to be here because they believe this is their year.
Ray, co-host who's not on the show, just hit us with a comment saying that the offense is better, and fans should be encouraged. I agree. I think fans should be encouraged. The offense is better. That defense, though, football still both sides. It's three phases to football, though, bro. It's still three phases. Yeah.
Got a competent quarterback. I mean, competent quarterback does change things.
It does. The three phases of football, though, bro. That defense makes you feel a certain way. That offense makes you feel good, but that defense makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
You ready to shoot? I know, right? I know that's right. Hey, Glenn. So, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Glenn? Do you think that say if they did win this game decisively, do you think a lot of people would have came to the ball game?
Yeah, I think so. I think you get a good amount of fans next week. It's still warm outside, right? It's still warm. It's still something to do. It's still something to do in the area. You ain't going to root for the Nationals, right? I mean, you're not going to a national game. There's no WNBA going on right now. So I think
right now, but it's all good. Go ahead.
But what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying is that when every other team in the city was doing well, everybody had other places to go, right? Now the Commanders do have some kind of hype around the name. It's early in the season, nice weather, nice atmosphere. Even though the stadium's not what you want, I think people still have the excitement because they're putting up points, right? If they had lost today 36-0, it'll be a different story. But because they was competitive until the end, I think that makes a big difference for fans that want to come out next week. And I forgot what next week is. It's some kind of a day. They got a gimmick. I can't remember what it is next week anyway. They keep doing for next week.
Oh, it's the Eagles. Yeah, you're right. Some gimmick. Oh, yes, right. There's a thing.
Yeah, they got some of the gimmick. They got some gimmick thing going on or promotion. That's not gimmick like it's wrestling. They got some kind of promotion.
We know what you're talking about, Glenn. I know we know what you're talking about.
Yeah. We with you.
They got some kind of promotion going on. So I mean, I think they have a good fan base next week. They want some special teams real quick. We didn't hit on it.
Yeah. Talk about special teams.
They need to let the ball go. They need to let the ball go in the end zone every time because there is no returner on this Washington Commanders team. I'd rather get it on the 25. 25 and get it on the 15, 16.
There is a return, but you don't want to use them.
They're not gonna let them do it.
Yeah, Jahan Johnson, or even Curtis Samuel, Do you have
those guys are in a pinch punt return?
Yeah, I agree. No, I'm with you. I'm saying you don't want to use
returners, but you see, they're too important to the offense.
Yeah,
so
you can't.
Max is back there because he has the best hands.
That's it.
Like he literally catches everything. That's why he's back there. And but he's got to let those go. He's got to let them
go. Yeah.
Again, in front of that as well, Glenn. They didn't block for anything. So by the time he has the ball, there was 3 or 4 free runners at him. So there's not going to be Devin Hester is not going to get away from 4 NFL people running straight at him without a block. So that should be revamped because every punt return there was about 3 or 4 blue shirts clean on him before he got to the 15. So
some of them he's just slow. I don't like to be mean.
He's slow, but
he's slow. No. There's one. You're right. Most of them were. I'm not denying. I'm agree with you. Most of them were. There's one though. Like there was one.
Yeah, there was one. He ran
perfectly. Like I feel like I thought it was blocked perfectly. I felt like any average dude gets you at least 20, 30.
Well, the last one he got up to
credit. I gave him his flowers. I said okay.
He got 35, almost 40 on that last one.
Yeah, he had like about 20. It was 20, right? It looked like it's 35 for regular speed. It was like 20 for his speed. It was like 20.
Right. Oh man.
I'm just saying, like it was. I know which one you're talking about because I even had it. I went into his chat. And I was like, okay. But then it was like 20 yards. I was like, okay, that could have been like 50, but it was cool. 20. That's like it felt like 50 though. It felt like 50.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. But no, you're right, Glenn. Special teams is a big problem. You want consistency. You let DeAndre Carter go, a guy who showed you playmaking ability in that position.
They did offer DeAndre Carter, but the Chargers offered a little bit more.
Yeah, a
he's
little
a California kid.
Yeah,
but I mean, they
waited forever though. They waited forever.
They waited a long time, and then that happened because the Chargers didn't go after him right away either. So
yeah, no, they didn't. I just know they waited forever for something that wasn't even expensive. Like they waited forever.
They could have easily locked Carter in, and just imagine Carter on this offense too. But,
that's what you see how he's been utilized with Justin Herbert. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. No, I know. Oh, I agree. I've seen it, but you wouldn't even need him in this off. Like he would be.
You really wouldn't need him much. But think about him coming to spell in like the Samuels or Dotson or Terry for a play. Because literally, when we take those three out, and y'all know how I am about Cam Sims, and he's gotten better each year. But anytime he comes out there, he's not separating from anybody.
Nobody, not at all.
Nobody.
No.
There's not. I've never seen Cam Sims separate from the corner. He's been open because the scheme has got him open.
Agreed.
He's never separated from a cornerback. So once he comes out there, they just press man and just walk him out the sideline and be like, "Thanks for playing.
Yeah,
we're waiting on the next guy to come back in." I'm sorry, I had to get
out. You know what? I agree. You know what's so funny? We're about to end the show. You know what's so funny? I saw like a tweet about how Cam Sims could be Mike Williams. I just died laughing. I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
No,
like I'm like people are like our fan base.
Did y'all not watch? Did people
not watch
Williams at Clemson?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're what are we doing? Like
did not see Cam Sims at Alabama.
Yeah. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing?
Not for Cam, for the Cam Sims fan base, because there is a group.
Yeah.
But there's such a drop-off from those top three to the next group. And out of that next group, he's probably the worst talented receiver of that group.
There you go. I like what you said.
Max Milne, De'Ami Brown, and him. He's talent-wise is at the bottom of that group. Yeah. Now he does a lot of good things. He's a blocker. He's physical.
Plays teams better. He plays teams better.
His purpose on this team is devalued now because we have a bunch of tall tight ends. Like at this point,
he'll be at the league. Cam said once his tour is over with Washington, he will be out of the NFL.
So I'm not going to go that hard. I'm not going to deny that because there's the Cam Sims contingent out there that like will come for your head. So I'm not.
They can come from my head, but the proof is in the pudding. I mean, look how he got pushed out today by a little corner.
Let's be honest, right? Look, man, I don't like that.
What was he like 5'10", and he literally just rolled him out of bounds?
That he gets more burn.
You're 6'4", 6'5". Like that shouldn't happen.
I don't like that. I'd say more burn, but that could be snatched with De'Ami. That's a whole different argument. That's a whole different.
Yeah, I was talking to my high school football coach about this. I rather, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose with younger guys.
Agreed.
That still can get better versus somebody who's a senior who's plateaued. And Cam Sims is not a senior, but how much better is he going to get?
Yeah.
De'Ami has a chance of getting better.
Yeah.
Therein lies the difference right there. The chance in younger versus older and plateaued. I'd rather go out there with the younger guy, and if he makes a mistake, okay, he makes a mistake. But I'm not getting anything better out of Cam Sims, who's just out there. Either A is the run tell, or B, I'm going to throw this fade to him that he really can't out jump me or do anything else. He's not burning me. So that's the thing. That's the difference. Like, but just for all the Cam Sims fans, watch how corners play him and watch how they play Terry and watch how they play Dotson and watch how they play Samuels.
Look how they play De'Ami. Look how they play De'Ami. Yeah.
Like, they line up different on him than they line up on anybody else.
Yeah, it's the truth. You're not scared. Yeah, you're not scared he's gonna go by you. That's facts. Hey, Felix, before I let you go, man, how can our listeners catch you on social media and catch your content, my man?
You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Blessed Commander. I should have put that on my title. You can find all my stuff on 13 a.m. Fox Sports. You can find all my content there. I'll have a nice recap of today's game about the things I did not like. It's going to be a lot of bad and ugly, not a lot of good. So you can follow me on there on either one of those platforms.
Okay, cool. Bet. Hey, also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Everything. Also tweet us at ABG_everything and hit us up on IG at ABG_everything and like our All Burgundy and Go Everything Facebook page as well. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Everything YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, like a lot of videos. Algorithm's amazing. It's already moving up. So I appreciate y'all for doing it. I need y'all to keep doing it because I just like it. I like it a lot. I want you to swell to a lot of you. That's my demeanor. All right, man. I appreciate Felix and I appreciate Glenn for being on. Shout out to the homie Ray for like hitting us up with comments. We appreciate you, man. Hey, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, Mega, do me a favor. Lead us out, big homie.